You've probably heard his name on our newscast or seen his name in our credits. Scott Waterman is a news photographer here at Channel 3, but tonight he goes in front of the camera. Scott's 3-year-old daughter, Hannah, has a very rare genetic disorder afflicting only a handful of Vermont children. There is no cure, but Scott and his wife, SHELLY, are so hopeful one will emerge, they're taking a unique step now to prepare for the possibility. Tonight we begin a special series about Hannah's hope. It's early October, and Scott and SHELLY Waterman of Burlington are no longer counting weeks, but days until SHELLY's due date.
Yeah, how you feeling?
Honestly, I'm ready.
Pregnant for the second time, the routine is old hat to this couple.
Hey, we'll see how big this kid is.
I'm not gonna either.
Head first. That's right.
So she's head down?
Using an ultrasound machine, Dr. Marjorie Meyer checks to see how the baby is doing.
There's the little hand right there. See that? Cute little chubby arm there. You look great.
Everything looks normal. It's a prognosis all parents want to hear. But for the Watermans, it's especially comforting because a few months into the pregnancy, doctors delivered devastating news to Scott and SHELLY.
Girl.
I don't think I could find the words to describe how badly I felt, how horrible I felt, how frightened I felt.
Their first daughter, Hannah, was diagnosed last May with a rare genetic disorder called Rett syndrome. It affects Hannah's development, mentally and physically. She may never talk and may lose the ability to walk. Hannah could also suffer a variety of other diseases.
Good girl.
It was a diagnosis that changed their lives.
But it's just that, you know, I don't think time is ever going to take away the feeling of like it just happening, because it's just so, I wish it had happened to me instead of Hannah, you know.
I mean, you know, your child falls off their bike and scrapes their knee and you feel bad. Well, our child may not even be able to ride a bike.
Where's Mommy? Hey, are you gonna sing Where's Mommy? Hello, world.
She may never ride a bike, but Hannah is riding horses. It's a form of therapy to improve the use of her muscles.
Oh, she likes this so much. Hannah has some balance issues and some coordination issues, and the movement of the horse helps to improve her balance by stimulating the areas of the brain that are responsible for balance. Look at the posture. Really nice improvement, just over 20 minutes. Good girl.
Hannah undergoes many therapies to deal with the symptoms of Rett syndrome, but nothing will cure it, at least not yet. Scott and SHELLY are hopeful someday there'll be a cure.
See? The one in the middle? That one there?
Yeah, I know.
And Hannah's soon-to-be little sister could be her best hope. The Watermans plan to have the umbilical cord blood of their new baby frozen for at least a decade. Their hope is that stem cell research will someday result in a cure, and those stored stem cells could be used in a treatment for Hannah.
Hadley's cord blood being saved will give us an opportunity in the future to try and give Hannah a treatment.
It's the best hope that we have for, you know, making a better life for Hannah. And if her baby sister could help make her life better in that way, I mean, what more could you ask for?
So what are the stem cells in the cord blood, and how are they different from the stem cells at the center of debate over research? We'll have more on the issue tomorrow as we follow Scott and SHELLY on the big day. Marcellus. Using stem cells from embryos to cure disease has raised a lot of controversy in this country. Those embryos, one of the first stages of life, must be destroyed. But similar stem cells exist in a newborn's umbilical cord. They could be used to treat some diseases. And more parents are storing their baby's cord blood just in case. A Burlington family is taking advantage of the technology. We introduced you last night to Hannah Waterman. She suffers from an incurable genetic disorder. Her parents hope her new baby sister will hold the key to the cure.
We're looking forward to this baby coming and getting her here safe and sound.
The big day is here for SHELLY and Scott Waterman. They are about to become parents for a second time.
Today's the day.
Shelley is scheduled for a cesarean section, routine for women who've had one before. But this delivery is anything but routine. That's because the birth of their baby, already named Hadley, will also deliver hope for their older daughter, Hannah. The Watermans are having their new baby's umbilical cord blood frozen in a private bank. The cord blood contains stem cells, which can be transplanted, like bone marrow, to treat or cure diseases. The theory is, if science comes up with a cure for Rett syndrome, those frozen stem cells could be used to help Hannah.
And these are cells that reproduce fairly vigorously, and in some cases, you can match them very specifically, especially, say, to siblings, and make it more likely to get a good transplant if that's what's needed for the therapy of the disease.
This one? Yeah.
So in addition to the normal procedures of a C-section, the staff must also retrieve the cord blood following the birth. Normally, the umbilical cord would simply be thrown away. Instructions come in a special kit provided by the cord blood bank.
Just to familiarize yourself.
It's a new phenomenon that appears to be growing. Best estimates say 1 in 5 couples bank cord blood. The chances of using the stored stem cells are slim, and storage will cost this couple at least $2,000 over 17 years. It's a gamble worth every penny to the Watermans.
And that is the hope for Hannah, in a sense, is that Hadley's cord blood being saved will give us an opportunity in the future to try and give Hannah a treatment. Can you believe we're here, honey?
The moment finally arrives. Shelley is sedated for the C-section. Scott records the big event so she can see it later. It's a day of happiness this couple has earned, having learned of their older daughter's diagnosis only months earlier.
Hey, gorgeous. How are you?
Looks like Hannah.
And baby Hadley arrives without a hitch.
Hadley's here, honey.
While the newborn is checked and cleaned, the staff retrieves the umbilical cord blood. And Scott double-checks the procedures.
They hand it to me, and then I got to call this number, and they send off a courier to pick it up.
She's beautifully pink.
Yeah.
As the Watermans welcome a new life.
You say hi to your mommy.
Nurses pack up what could someday change their lives.
Did a good job, Hadley. Helped your sister, you didn't even know it.
So with one delivery complete,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
another begins its journey. A journey the Watermans hope will someday lead back to Hannah with a cure.
If nothing ever happens, at least we did everything we could.
While cord blood holds many possibilities without the ethical conflicts of using embryos, the stem cells from embryos actually have more potential to fight disease than cord blood. Tomorrow, in our final segment of Hannah's Hope, we check in with the Watermans and take a closer look at whether banking blood is the right choice for everyone. Marcellus. Tonight, the conclusion to our special series, Hannah's Hope. 3-year-old Hannah Waterman suffers from a genetic disorder. Her new baby sister's umbilical cord blood has been frozen in a special bank. If a cure is discovered for Hannah, that blood could be used in a treatment. Cord blood banking is a new technology that may tempt new parents. Tonight, we examine whether banking is right for everyone.
See? The one in the middle? That one there?
Yeah, I know.
From anticipation
Shelly? This really is a girl. I really am.
to exhilaration. Scott and Shelley Waterman welcomed a new addition to their family in October, Hadley.
Oh, now that doesn't hurt.
That's the easy part, Hadley.
Her umbilical cord blood was saved and sent to a private bank for storage. The blood is rich with stem cells that could be used in the future to treat diseases.
Helped your sister, you didn't even know it.
She's actually been sleeping through the night.
But the stored stem cells are not meant for Hadley.
You put the block in the hole?
Big sister Hannah suffers from Rett syndrome, an incurable genetic disorder that affects her growth mentally and physically. The Watermans hope a cure will someday emerge, and the stored stem cells could be used in a treatment for Hannah.
I feel like at some point Hannah has a really good chance of being able to use these stem cells.
No real data exists about how often parents might use stem cells. The American Academy of Pediatrics says chances range anywhere from 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 200,000. The organization says it's unwise to bank your own child's stem cells unless there is a specific family history.
In general, I think the medical profession is recommending against private banking for personal use because of the very low likelihood and the very high cost.
Private banks can charge thousands of dollars. Scott and Shelley are paying $2,000 out of their own pocket to keep the cord blood frozen. Medical ethicist Dr. Bob Orr says private banking is not a question of ethics, but of prudence.
I think there are a few very uncommon situations with a family history of a particular disorder where there might be some potential for benefit in the future, that it might be worthwhile for them to save that cord blood for their own use at a later date. But generally, the option for using blood for somebody without a family history like that are very, very small.
Why, for them, I think it may well be more than just a shot in the dark. Perfect size, head down.
Shelley and Scott's doctor says she generally does not recommend private banking. But with Hannah's rare disorder, Dr. Meyer says storing stem cells could be helpful if researchers develop a cure.
But that's not to say that they might not figure that out even over the next 5 years, in which case it may be a very reasonable thing to have just on the outside chance that it would help. And I think that that's true for most people who have a child that has a genetic disease, especially in a relatively rapidly evolving field.
The Watermans know it's a gamble, but that outside chance is Hannah's hope.
We have so much more hope now than we could have before.
I would rather spend the money, collect the cord blood, save the stem cells, and have nothing ever happen than to have missed the opportunity and something does come up in 5-10 years that could help Hannah. I mean, if nothing ever happens, at least we did everything we could.
Most doctors recommend parents donate cord blood to public banks. They work much like the nation's blood banks. Different types can be matched for different patients. Public banking increases the possibility a patient can find a perfect match. If you would like to know more about Hannah's condition, you can check out the website rhettsyndrome.org. And Marcellus, we should thank photographer Bob Davis and editor Nate Formulari for their hard work on this series.